Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to the Bhakti Rahasyam, episode number 34. Our great country, Bharatavarsha, is the spiritual hub of the entire world. Countless saints have taken birth in this great land and are showing us the path to devotion and liberation. Saints have taken birth, they are taking birth, and they will take birth in the years to come. Devotion and spirituality is something which is very much integrated in this great land. We should be thanking Thirukkolur Penpillai for educating us or making us aware of such great devotees and their devotional experiences. Till now, we have seen 33 Bhakti Rahasyams, which means at least 33 devotees and their experiences. In the 34th Bhakti Rahasyam, Thirukkolur Penpillai is benchmarking herself with the qualities of giving or qualities of sharing. The joy of giving or the joy of sharing, as we know, is elaborated in this particular Bhakti Rahasyam. So here she is comparing herself with not one person but three persons at the same time. So these three people or these three great saints were called the Mudhal Alwars in Tamil, which means the first and the foremost Alwars. Just to recall, Alwars are the great saints who are staunchly engaged in the devotion of Lord Vishnu, and we have seen the comparisons which Thirukkolur Penpillai does with multiple Alvars in our previous Rahasyams. So here she is comparing herself with the Mudhal Alwars. Let us see her Bhakti Rahasyam, which she is mentioning to Swami Ramanuja. She says, "Did I realize the Lord in a crowded space like the Mudhal Alwars?" So, how did the Mudhal Alwars realize God in a crowded space is the story which we are going to see now. Out of the 12 Azhwars, these three Azhwars were the first ones to take birth and show the path of devotion. It is said that they were born right at the start of the age of Kali, that is Kali Yuga, and these three Azhwars were born on 3 consecutive dates. Although they led an independent life and they were not known to each other up to a particular point in time. So these three Azhwars were known as Poigai Azhwar, Bhudat Azhwar and Pei Azhwar. So they used to go to various devotional places, divine places of Lord Vishnu, sing poems in his praise, and were engaged or engrossed in the devotion in this manner. Now, Lord Vishnu thought once that these three Azhwars who are going to pave the way for the other Azhwars to come and spread the glories of Lord Vishnu, they should somehow meet together and sing the glories together instead of doing it independently. So he sets his plan in motion. It so happens that the first Alvar, that is Poigai Alvar, he plans to visit a temple of Lord Vishnu in a place called Thirukkolur. He reaches that place. It's the evening time and it is pouring heavily. So he is not able to get to the temple. So he approaches the hermitage of a sage just nearby the temple. Now, such hermitages, or say even the houses in the southern part of India, back in the old days, used to have a raised platform just outside the door of the house, so that any person who was passing by, basically travelers or wandering monks, they could just rest in that raised platform space which was outside the house, and then they could continue with their onward journey. And it was a space just enough for maybe one person to lie down comfortably. So Poigai Alvar, on reaching that place and finding that it is dark, it's getting dark and it's raining heavily, he resorts to this particular space outside the hermitage of a sage, and he lies down there with the intention that he will take the darshan of the Lord in the subsequent morning once the sky is clear and there is light. He is lying down meditating on Lord Vishnu. As per Lord Vishnu's plan, even the second Alvar, Bhudat Alvar, he comes to the same place. He sees, oh, it's raining heavily, and he also resorts to this particular hermitage of the sage. There he is seeing that there is one saint who is lying down. So he goes and requests him that he is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, but he is unable to go into the temple. So can he share the space with Poigai Alvar? So Poigai Alvar gets up. He is elated because he has found a companion who is also a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So he says, why not? This space is enough for one person to lie down, but two persons can definitely sit next to each other. So they sit beside each other and they discuss the glories of Lord Vishnu. Again, as per Lord Vishnu's plan, the third Alvar, Pei Alvar, he also reaches the same place at the same time, and unable to get into the temple, he walks into this particular hermitage, and he is also surprised to see there are already two people sitting in that platform. So same thing, he goes and introduces himself that he is a devotee, and the other two Alvars are greatly surprised. They say, yes, why not? If one person can lie down, two persons can sit, definitely we three can stand together in this place and discuss the glories of Lord Vishnu, since they had Lord Vishnu as the common point to discuss. So when three people stand in that smaller space, it is but obvious that it becomes congested, but they were able to manage and adjust among themselves. Now it was getting really dark from the evening, it was almost the night time, and as they were carrying on the glories of Lord Vishnu, they could feel the presence of a fourth person among them. Now, if we notice, all these three Alvars, they had politely inquired each other, and that's how they got into that space. So all the three were a bit apprehensive that who is this fourth person who has no manners. Without any inquiries, he has just barged into this space. But again, owing to the darkness, they are not able to see, and the space has started really getting stuffy. It's getting difficult to breathe because of that small space being occupied by four people now. The fourth one being the mysterious intruder. So the first Alvar, Poigai Alvar, he sings a divine poem, a divine hymn, where he prays the God for removal of the outside or external darkness. Once he completes his hymn, the second Alvar, he sings a hymn to remove the internal darkness in the minds of all humans. So the moment the external and internal darkness is removed through these divine poems, immediately there is a light, and the fourth person shows up himself. He is none other than Lord Vishnu. According to his plan, he got all the Alvars together under one roof, and he wanted to enjoy the company of his beloved devotees. So he comes into that space, and that made the Alvars to sing these poems. So the moment there is light, he gives a divine vision to all the three Alvars, and the third Alvar, Pei Alvar, not to be left behind in the compositions, he sings a beautiful hymn describing the beauty of the four-hand Lord Vishnu who has just given the darshan. So that's how the Alvars are able to experience Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu experienced the three great Alvars. Showering his blessings on the three Alvars, he disappears. So at that point in time, the three Alvars decide that they will now tour to various devotional places together and sing various divine compositions or poems. So these poems are the starting for the great literature called Divya Prabandham. So in Tamil it is called Nalayiram Divya Prabandham, which is a composition of 4,000 divine poems which was composed by the 12 Alvars, of which the first three Alvars gave the introduction. And this was the circumstance when they sang those initial compositions in under one roof. So this is the quality of sharing which captures the attention of Thirukkolur Penpillai, who feels that these Alvars were so easygoing amongst themselves. They shared the space easily, otherwise there would be a resistance. It was getting dark, they could have refused space to each other. One could have easily lied down comfortably, saying that okay, it's comfortable here, no more accommodation. But no, he was willing to accommodate the other saint, and these two were ready to accommodate the third saint. So this is the quality she feels that she is lacking. She feels these saints were so easygoing, they easily shared the space They gave space to each other. But here I am so selfish that for my needs I am planning to leave this great divine land of Thirukkolur. So where am I and where are those three great saints? So this is her comparison, and this is the content of our Bhakti Rahasyam. It's a very short Rahasyam where the main point is the quality of sharing. So we also get a short message from this particular Bhakti Rahasyam, that is, we need to share and we need to give as much as possible back to the society. Now, people who are privileged to have adequate wealth, they can always think of doing some routine charity or donations which will help in bringing smile to those people who are desperately in need for various things in life. So this attribute would give pure joy to the person who gave as well as to the person who receives. So that's all from our current Bhakti Rahasyam. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.